All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the daily or not daily page, the coffee run. Coffee run? Yeah, coffee run. Wow. It's Monday. Can you tell? Happy to see you all here, though. Good morning. Good morning. And we have lots to talk about actually today. Um, we're getting into, I think I mentioned this last week. This is going to be the last week of lives for a while. We're going to go live all week. I think Joe from Crash Master Journey asked me this morning on his show, am I going to go live on Thursday, 4th of July? The answer is yes. I'm going to do a paycheck for sure on the 4th of July. Probably won't do a coffee run that day. We'll probably do a coffee run on Friday, but not Thursday, just because we have people over the house and where my office is, I'll wake them up if I do a show. So we'll probably do a paycheck, but not the regular show. And then next week, we're off all week. Next week is the moving week. The first week of the move, we're having like a weird 2-week move. So next week's the first week of move. Week after that is the second week. So no live shows the week after this one. So that's when I think Chris from Dice D is going to do some stuff. And so we'll see. Anyway, let's get after today's show. And a couple good things to talk about, I think. One is going to be this. Let's actually go here. Hold on a second. Let's change screens. One thing is going to be this. I finally got Eddied, right? I joked about it for a few weeks now. You know, Ed Robinson's been doing the reaction videos to things, and he got me finally, right? I keep saying Ed's going to do me at one of these points, and I'm going to have to kind of, suck it up and take it. And it was actually a really good show. He of course breaks things down great, and his initial. It's funny because I think Ed made the point. He jokes about, John drives me crazy. We're actually really good friends. Ed is a great dude, and I think he and I are actually really, really tight. But we will clash on a couple of things, and I'll hit up on those here in a minute. But it's kind of cool because when he's going through the Red Cross strategy, and I think he, like everybody else, like most people don't love the Iron Cross. I know that Jacob from Raising This loves the Iron Cross. Most people don't love it. And I think most people don't love it because they don't know how to play it, number one. Knowing how to play the Iron Cross and using it for the tool that it can be, that's the secret to the Iron Cross, right? You cannot live in that thing forever. Today was a good example in the garage, actually, of showing why you can't survive doing that. But once you understand how to play it, and I think that the Red Cross is the strongest way to play it if you're going to play it. Ed was picking up on it as we go. I'm demonstrating the roles and I'm saying my thing, and he's like, he's probably going to do this. I would do that, and almost everything he said we should do, we basically did, except for the 5. The 5 was kind of running hot there. We didn't jump on that, and I think he wanted me to place the 6 when I had the don't pass up. Other than that, I think most craps players watch that strategy and go, okay, I can see what he's doing. This is the move. I get the move, right? Ed said it 4 or 5 times during the video, and I said it at one point too. You got to make a decision and get out of there, right? 3-4 hits in, you got to run, right? Get to the cage. He kept saying, get to the cage, get to the cage. I, of course, kept playing it, but like, it's get to the cage. Like that thing works to a point, and then you got to be gone. We're going to have a big talk about that in our next session here, but a couple of questions came up from Ed and from somebody in his chat. I want to make sure I clarify that here. When you're playing the Red Cross, which is an Iron Cross with a line, and on the line, we basically follow the puck. So if you on the don't pass and you hit the point, you switch to the pass line. Pass line, the person 7's out, you switch back. You kind of go back and forth. We call it the Baccarat style. You follow the winner kind of thing. And that's a ladder up on that. You only do that when the puck loses. You don't do it on come out winners and losses. Otherwise, what happens is, and Waylon and I tried this when we first made the strategy up. We tried to follow, every loss ladder up. The come outs get so volatile. You can have your pass line or don't pass line bets back and forth and up to like $1,000 before you even think about it. So we said, let's limit that. Only do it when the puck changes color. So when you lose or win when a point has been set, that's the trigger for the Baccarat line. That's it. On that one, I think Ed also is saying you should be pressing the 5 because the 5's coming. This strategy was always designed as a same bet. Waylon is big on same bet, right? This is a same bet until you're even, and then you get to go kind of a thing. So you same bet. As soon as your rack is correct, got your money back, that's when you start doing the moves. And if you want to take some profit and go back to a number that was hot, that's going to keep rolling, fine. But you same bet until you have the power, quote unquote, to make that choice. Then you got free reign. You do whatever you want to. You can read the table, move stuff around, whatever you want to. I made a point in that video about comps at the very end. Like I gave it like a B+ on comps because you have a lot of money out there, but potentially for a short period of time. Ed makes this point, and I think it's one that we've got to repeat here. And I've said this to you so many times. Like, don't play for comps. Like, if you're playing, comps will come. Right now on the cruise ship, a little different story. Cruise ship, you've got to if your goal is to play to earn the next one, you're playing a certain way and you're making sure that your bets are being seen and you're kind of locked in with the crew getting those comps so that your next cruise is free. That's the whole point of that. After that though, comps will come. You play your way, you get your bets up, you do your thing, comps will come as they come automatically, right? Don't change your play style just to earn a bunch of freaking points. That's what Ed said. It's a huge point. It should be like the cover of a book. Like don't play for comps. Like there's not enough freebies in the world to make you play a different way. They don't give you enough. Like the hotel room, fine, $200, a big deal. You're not gonna to lose, $600 to get a $100 room and some breakfast isn't worth it, right? Now, again, be aware of it. If you're a comp player, be aware of it. Don't change your play style just to earn it. That's that, and I think that was Ed's point. It's a great point. So I think that's a good thing. Thanks, Ed, for doing that. Again, take it with a grain of salt, right? As the person getting reviewed, it's like he's not gonna love everything I do, and he's gonna poke and jab like Ed does, and fine, man. I think it's actually good. Like Ed showing that video makes people watch my channel, and I'm down with that, right? And I think that's all cool. Now, watching the video that he did, I'd forgotten when I filmed that thing. That was back when I got all the new cameras, right? So you can't see behind me. There's a camera over the table there. I didn't have that camera at the time, right? The one actually, I bought a new camera over the weekend. The one I'm looking at right now is a brand new camera. It's not very sharp. I got to do some lighting things, but I got a new camera that helps me make eye contact better with you. Hopefully you're noticing that we're making more eye contact than before when I was doing this. So it's a little nuance, but I watched that video and I hear the audio quality sucks. The video was not very clear. I struggle with these videos sometimes because I want to have like this one here. I want the words on there so you can see like what the bets are going to be for when I'm showing you a strategy, but the table's super small and you can't see the chips well enough. So I'm looking at that. I'm just cringing the whole time. Like, God, the production quality of that thing sucks. My audio is terrible. The table's not sharp. You can't see things. Really did not like the way I presented that whole thing. So as I watched that the whole time, I'm thinking, I got to refilm this thing. I got to explain it better. I got to refilm it. I got to show you the good and the bad. And so I will do another Red Cross video at some point. And the Red Cross really, besides the Dallas Drawdown, is one of the last strategy videos I'll ever make because I don't play a lot of ways. You know what I mean? My ways of playing, if you want to call them strategies, it's the Red Cross, it's the Dallas Drawdown, it's the Philly Special. That's how I play the right side. That's it. I don't do anything else, right? I'll do a little same betting here in the middle, but that's it. I do a little tier pressure to get into the Philly Special, and I'm done. So I may put out the video that says, here's like the 5 ways I play. Horseman, come ladder, in those 3 ways, and just be kind of done with it. And just kind of like close the book on John's strategy talk and just kind of go with regular play. Anyway, that was the Ed stuff. Thanks for doing it. I love the reaction videos, and I got a couple of them coming next week. Actually, not really reactions, but I saw a couple of really cool videos on math stuff like gambler's fallacy and roulette streaking and that kind of thing. And the guy who I watched makes some good points, and he misreads the math really on some other things. And I wanted to kind of show that video so you can see it because there's good information there, and then give you my thoughts on it. So we'll do that while I'm out next week. Anyway, what else happened there? Casino Tears dropped their podcast. I watched it yesterday finally because, as you know, I'm moving, right? So I'm packing boxes and I'm running around like a maniac. So I just finally saw it, and it was great. Bo Parker is one of my favorite people. I met him once. I met him at the Crash for the Cure last year. When I moved to Vegas, I intend on making Bo a friend of mine. Bo's such a cool dude, and I'll be close to him and we can practice and play together. He's just a great guy, and although I don't agree with him on everything, right? And that's okay, right? And his talk was a lot. You got to watch the Casino Tears podcast. It was a lot of metaphysical stuff, right? Things that you can't quantify. And Bo even says the math does not support me on this, but it happens. And I get what he's saying. Like he likes to, when he sees a horn number, turn his bets off. He likes to wait for you to roll a box number before he bets on you. Everybody, like, set a point. Let me see a box number first before I start putting bets out. He's very careful with his money, right? He's a believer in, like, you got to prove that you're worth my bets, right? He's a believer in when things go sideways, right? Somebody swears, dice off the table, waitress comes up. He believes if the mojo gets like interrupted at all, if the vibe changes even a little bit, he's off, right? He's a big believer in energy. And frankly, so is Garrison. Garrison's a huge believer in energy at the table, and he will make and not make bets based on table energy, right? I don't. I've always been like, hooey. The dice don't care about your table energy. The dice are going to do what they're going to do. I more watch what the shooters are doing, right? And I'm getting to be where I feel like, quote unquote, I can read a shooter a little bit, right? And if I see somebody who's just, I get no read on that, right? I don't go anywhere with that, right? If I see somebody who's trying something and it ain't working for them, that might be a reason to turn my bets off, right? If I see, like, if I'm playing with Ed and Ed's setting the dice and it's his horn number, and he's shaking his head and trying something else, I'm turning bets off. Like, that's when I'll look at that kind of stuff and be like, I don't, I'll let the person kind of settle themselves in again. I'm not a believer in the off and on table energy kind of thing. And again, it's a math thing, for me. That's one of the math plays that I make is like, I know, and you should know, if you're going to see the 7 once every 6 rolls or thereabouts, right? It's what's going to be. And if you're off for a roll, on for a roll, off for a roll, on for a roll, 6 of the times that you're on, one of those rolls is going to be a 7. It doesn't matter, right? You're just prolonging the inevitable when you do that kind of stuff. I don't let myself get concerned with it. I just let it happen, right? And maybe to my detriment, I let things happen too much, right? I don't read and run like a lot of these guys do. But hey, that's it. It's a good talk. Bo presents his case well. He talks through it. He's a super jovial dude. I love Bo. Maybe he can convince me to do more of that stuff if I saw him in person. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, there's that. Also, not on the screen was the recap from Jeremy and Jim on the DiceCon last night. I missed DiceCon. I missed the Brownwater Bash, and I missed DiceCon, which both sucked. But they had a great time at DiceCon. Jeremy's getting, it's a lot. It's 150 people or so coming to that thing. It's a lot to wrangle. He's not doing like specific events anymore. He's letting people spread out and do their own thing. Focus that was pretty much downtown, which is kind of cool because you can casino hop and see a bunch of people. Yeah, they had a good time down there. I guess more stories to come from that crew, but anyway, good for them. Glad it went well. Glad the Brownwater Bash went so well and was well received and all of it. So again, I say all the time, our community is awesome, right? Now we're going to come to Vegas. The next big one is Vegas with AZ and me kind of overlapping for the Crafts for the Cure thing. So that's going to be fantastic. So, all right, here we go. Crafts for the Cure. We have a meeting today, I think. What did I do? What did I do? I hit the wrong button. I think I got a meeting today. Let's fix that. Hey, there we go. Come on, fix it. There we go. We have a meeting today, I think, with the casino to get that figured out. Hopefully we'll have that date locked and we can start going. I keep saying it over and over again. It's out of my hands. I'm waiting for somebody to say yes. So as soon as we get the yes, go, right? And that's going to be the thing. More updates to come there. Paycheck today, we did good. We won $1,200 today. Didn't hit goal. The goal was 1,400. I was one hit away from goal. And I say this all the time. I'm never superstitious, right? I don't read too much into anything. Although whenever I say out loud or in my head, one more roll and we're going to turn our bets off, or one more roll till I regress, or after the next roll I regress, I turn my shit off. Like, that's it. Like, in my head, I said, I need one more roll to get to Paycheck. And I went, nope, I'm not doing it. I regressed everything back down, locked up the Paycheck. And like the next roll, the roll after that was my 7. Like, it's just, I know it's confirmation bias 100%, but that's the one thing I'm superstitious about. So we didn't get our goal today, but we got close enough for government work. And I ran the Red Cross in honor of Ed doing the reaction. I ran the Red Cross and it did good, right? But it fails on point 2 here, right? The Red Cross is cool, but it fails. To me, the Paycheck test is hit it and get it, right? Get out in 4 rolls max, like be done in 4 rolls, right? And generally speaking, I play in ways where the first 2, 3, or 4 rolls, whatever I'm trying for, whatever that is, will win back my spread. So I'm out there for 64, 3 or 4 rolls wins me $64. If I'm out there for 160, 3 or 4 rolls wins me the 160, right? When the Paycheck is happening and I'm out and I need to win 1,400, I go out there 1,600, right? 3 or 4 rolls wins me about 1,600 and I'm out. That's the whole Paycheck, right? I like that better than the Red Cross for it, which is a grind. You got to go out there for $1,000 and you got to get 7, 8, 9, 10 hits to get there. It took 13 rolls today to get it done, right? I don't like grinding that hard for it. I get the lower risk, but boy, the grind, especially with an Iron Cross, will get you. So you got to be careful with it. And I think today was a good example of that, and I think when we talk about phased play today in the main session here, I'll use today's rolls as kind of an example because we actually hit part of that as we went through it. So anyway, good paycheck. I'll take a win every time I can get it, and right now we are at 78% total with the strategies, which is great. We're up $29,000, right? Our total bankroll is 38,000 or 48,000. That's our profit level right there. So we're at $48,014, 2K away from 50, which is fantastic. Can you believe we're gonna be at $50,000 in this thing? Starting out with $1,000 buy-ins and winning 10% a day. Like it's literally happening. We got to hope we can get to 100 before we hit the downside of that, right? There's a downside coming, right? But if we can manage 78 to 80% win rate, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. I think our win goal and our loss limit and our buy-ins, I think we finally found quote unquote the butter zone to get the numbers right. So feels good right there. Let's see. Wattage Live says on that same point from before, the math says doesn't matter if you work to come out or not, right? Working to come out does matter a little bit differently, right? The reason for that is you can get, if you're going to work to come out, you got to have a stop limit on that thing, right? Because you can get whacked 4 times in a row. Today I threw 3 come out 7s today. One of my come out was a 7-3-7-7, right? If you're working to come out, you're getting pounded 3 times before a point gets set. That's the difference of working to come out versus, they say it's any other roll. It's true, but it's the only time in the game where you can get your spread whacked multiple times on consecutive throws. That's the reason why I don't normally work to come out unless I've got the horn going. If it's the cross and the horn, it's anything but 7. You take your chances with it, but only take your chance one time. You get whacked on a come out, stop. Let it happen. Don't take the multiple hits. I know you can't see it coming, but don't let the batter swing at you more than once, right? Or don't get in a fight in an alley and take more than 2 hits. Like that's kind of how I'm looking at that thing. So, all right, here we go. Let's get back into the gambling series here a little bit, and I think today's going to be one of the more important ones. I think all these lessons are important, but today I think is going to be one that I'm really excited about getting into with you. Let's remind ourselves of like where we are and why we're here, right? Goals. Today's going to be a goal talking day. It's kind of a combo, goal and bankroll today. This is where we start bringing it all together, right? We've talked about like your mindset and your bankroll and your money management. And we've talked about comp play. We've talked about the math. We've talked about everything. We've shown you all the core ways to play, right? The start small, the start big, the start in the middle, the collecting, the pressing, all the different patterns you can follow, right? All that stuff together makes your strategy. Your bankroll dictates most of it. And I think let's turn the corner here and talk about bringing it all home, okay? And to that end, here in session 17, I want to revisit a topic that I did years ago, and I don't talk about it enough anymore, and it's phased play. And I think this is one of those things I think that separates at least me from most people. But I think you talk to guys that have been playing craps their whole lives, they may or may not realize they're doing this. They haven't put a name to it yet, but they're playing in what's called, I think, a phased manner. And I used to give the baseball analogy, right? Get him on, get him over, get him in, right? Like walk a guy, bunt him over to second base, single to get him home. That's kind of how I look at phased craps, right? You can think of it as parts of a football game if you want to, but to me, I approach it like this. Phase 1, get my money back. Simple. Whatever you're doing out there, I don't care if it's a $12 6 and that's your only bet. Don't do anything else until you get that money back in your rack. That's number 1. Get the money back. If you're 64 across, you better win 65 bucks. If you're going 44 inside, you better win $44. You're going 330 inside, you better win 330 before you make your next move. That's phase 1. Phase 1 is focus time. Get your money off that freaking table. Okay. Once you have your money back, now you're playing for free, quote unquote. You got house money out there. You got profit play. I call it a leveraged play. You're playing with only winnings, so you cannot lose. That's an important part of phase 1 is make sure that your next move is played without risk. Because in phase 2, without risk, you're looking to lock the win. Now you take a hit or 2, a couple of rolls, a couple of spins, a couple of hands, lock in the win, right? Now that win, you could be targeting a win on a per shooter or a per session or a per series basis. In other words, if I'm at roulette and I got $1,000 and I break it into 10 series of $100, each series is trying to win let's say $20, and I go out there with a small set of bets and I win enough money to go back out there to win my $20 on leveraged money, that's what I'm talking about. In craps, it might be per shooter. You might say, you know what, I'm going to go out 160. My goal on this shooter is to earn at least $50. So you take a couple of hits and you got your 160 back in your rack. You got 160 out there, and you're gonna make another stronger move. Cool. That's phase 2. Phase 2, lock in a win, because remember, after phase 1, you got your money back. After phase 2, whatever comes off the table is locked. That's beautiful, right? Phase 3, once you've locked in something satisfactory, whatever that is for you, then you make the big call, right? And that big call is going to be get out, go to the cage and walk away, or hit the gas. Either way you want to do it. Today we did it in our third shooter today. We had a drawdown. We drew down. We drew down. We drew down. I got even, and then I made the call. I could take the money off the table and go to the cage, or we can now hit the gas. We hit the gas and that threw a 7. Right? It happens. But this is a bankroll mindset. This is not about strategy today, right? Your bankroll decides all of this. How much do you have out there to get started with? How are you getting that money back? How much do you want to lock after you have it back and you're playing for free? And then once you got your quote unquote real lock, what are you doing? Cage, or are you hitting them hard? You got to make that call. That's your phase 3 play. Again, phase 1, phase 2, and then you got to make a call. And it's to me the 3 phases. Now, within those phases, revisit the play styles. What's the best play style for you that hits the goal in each phase? What's the best way that you got, that you trust, that you've practiced, that will get you your money back quickly, right? Is it same betting 3 times? Is it going big and taking one hit and then that's your phase 1 play, right? Are you going to go out there with tiny bets and do 3 full presses and then come back down? Is that your phase 1 play? You got to decide what you're going to do. And again, I can't tell you that. You got to say, this is the way I like to do it. This is the way that I trust when I'm throwing, or when I'm on the, when I see the, the nice thick count in a blackjack shoe. This is what I do. However you're doing it, pick the play style that fits each phase best for you. And it may be the same for all the phases. Okay. Phase 1, get it back, right? I'm looking at 1 to 3 decisions if I can help it, right? 1 to 3 hands in baccarat or blackjack, 1 to 3 rolls on a roulette table, 1 to 3 spins on a roulette table, 1 to 3 throws on a craps table. What's the best way to get the money back? And how much money am I then ready to play with, right? It could be that I went out there for, let's say, $64 across, and I took 2 hits and I got $45 in the rack. That might be enough to say, you know what? I take the money off the table and my money's back in the rack, right? And I got $44 left over. That might be good enough for you. Get your money off the table, set yourself up for your second phase, right? Remember this. If you play in a way that in 2 or 3 decisions gets your money back fully in the rack, that's 100% profit. And you cannot forget that. If you go out there for $64 across in a craps table and you win three times, right? That's $45. The 4th win that gets you to about $60, right? That's 100% profit. Where in the world are you getting 100% profit in 15, 20 minutes? It never happens, right? No, you would marry your financial advisor if they got you 100% profit in that short of amount of time. Remember that, okay? Your get it back phase 1 could be your only play. When I'm Paycheck playing in the garage, I'm playing a phase 1 system and I'm done. I'm going to the cage. I never go to phase 2 or phase 3, right? My Paycheck play is phase 1 and home, right? Because it is 100% profit. Remember that as you go through. But if you're going to keep on playing, now you've got your money back, 100% of your profits out there on the table, potentially, right? You might even keep a little extra back. And now you're in phase 2. Now you're freewheeling, right? And again, don't freewheel for very long. Get a couple of decisions out of it. 2, 3 decisions, couple of rolls, couple spins, right? Hit your win goal here. If I went out there for, let's say, again, 160 across and I won 160, my rack is full, right? I'm playing with 160 for free. I have 2 choices. I could have actually taken another $50 off the table and locked up 50 and played with like $96, right? Or 2 more hits, lock up 70, $80, right? With the freewheel. Now I'm done, right? I've hit my win goal for that shooter, that session, whatever it is. Again, decision time, right? My rack is reset. It's complete. I've got some profit locked in the rack. I can walk to the cage with that profit and be happy. And I still got the money that I wanted to play with out there. My leveraged play is out there. And that brings you to phase 3 where you make your call. Make the call. Option 1, stop. If I'm paycheck playing, if I'm bankroll building, and I'm only there to build bankroll for the next couple of times, right? You stop playing. If you're there to set yourself up for another run, let's say that you had phase 1 work, you got your money back with a tiny bit of profit. Go out there for phase 2, bang, bang, bang. You lock up your session goal, right? I'm set up to either restart phase 1 again, right? Or go with option 2 here, and now it's time to hit the gas. And a lot of people go hit the gas. Let's go, right? Play your home run thing, pressing, progressing, switching to something different. I've seen people do phase 3 where they got a pass line bet for $10 and they go out there with phase 1 with an across bet, take a couple of hits, bring their money back down, take a couple of hits and put all the winnings on the odds. And their phase 3 play, their hit the gas play is like, my money's back. I got an extra $50 in profit that's locked up. I'm going to just jack the rest of it on the odds and let's take one, let it happen. Let the 32 roller go by. Don't worry about it, right? Your choice here. Your make the call choice. And you can't make a bad choice here because if you get to phase 3, you have your money back. You have profit locked up for this session or this series or this shooter. And now you're playing on leveraged cash, right? That leveraged cash can come home and set you up for tomorrow. That might be your first bet the next day, that extra little money. Or it could be the fuel to let you go for that home run, right? That phase 3 is an important phase. And I think everybody, depending on what your goal is for the day, it's different, right? If you're out there playing with friends at a meetup, phase 3 is probably hit the gas, right? If I'm going to my local and I'm trying to rebuild my bankroll, phase 3 is going home, right? Again, it's you got to read that as you want to read that, okay? Now, this will happen too. You're going to get burned, right? Today is a good example. I failed twice today, right? We went out there and I PSO'd twice trying to draw down, right? I went out there for one. I had $500 in the bank. I went 160 across, PSO. Okay. Let's try it again. 160 across, PSO. Okay. Now we're down twice. I still have all the options. I have all the options available, right? My bankroll dictates what I'm going to do. I rail dumped today and we did it. We made it happen again, but there's a lot of things you can do and think about what's going to be your play when you're down. When you're down, work phase 1 multiple times, which is what I did. I did the drawdown. So instead of doing a hit and come down by half and a hit and come down by half, I went hit, 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 come down by half, hit, 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 come down by half, right? I worked the phase 1 multiple times and never went to phase 2. Right? I never went there because I never got even again. I used phase 1 to get myself even. Follow me? You can do whatever you want to, but when you're down, remember that. You can't really go to phase 3 when you're down unless you're going to say, screw it. I'm going to skip phase 2. I'm going to go get my money back and just hit the gas and use hitting the gas at instant phase 3 to maybe catch fire and get my money back. That's an interesting way to approach it. Just skip the second phase and just go for the jugular earlier, right? You can completely skip your phases and go low volatility for a little bit, right? Do something simple on the roulette table. Just bet black, right? Go something 50-50 and, whatever, do a quick ladder, something like that. Recovery has a place in all this, right? You really can't go all 3 phases when you're fighting from underneath. And I think that's where over my career, I've gotten burned more times trying to recover by playing the same way I was playing, right? The recovery gets worse and worse and worse over time. So you've got to think about how do you phase in the recovery plan. And I think that's an important thing. Going phase 1, phase 2 and getting whacked is no way to recover. Trust me on that. So there's those thoughts, right? And I think when I recap my thoughts on this whole thing, right? Phasing my play, getting even, getting up and getting out. You can play, by the way, the same strategy or system or style in all 3 phases. It doesn't matter. You want to sit there and same bet in phase 1 until you're even and say, cool, I same bet it enough times. I have my money back and I had the same money out there. Great. I'm going to same bet 3 more times. Now I've locked up some profit. Sweet. Now I'm going to same bet until the shooter 7's out. Sweet. Right? What you're doing though is watching your bank, right? You can chase the trend if you want to. You can chase your losses. You can short stack the whole, it doesn't matter. How you play those phases to me is immaterial. You want to go out there and just wait for somebody to roll 2 5s and then start beating the 5 up. That's your plan. Cool. Right? Doesn't matter how you play in phase 1, 2, or 3. I don't care. Right? Go out there with a goal. I'm going to be at it for a limited number of rolls or whatever. That's fine. How you do it, it doesn't matter. Right? This is 100% about how you manage your rack as you play. And going back to that first point that I made, way back on the phase 1 screen, okay? If you're in phase 1 and you get your money back off the table, you've scored 100% profit. Remember that. That's why the paycheck's working for me, because I'm not trying to do too much, right? When you have a phase 1 win, it's 100% profit. There's no shame in taking that to the cage and being done. No shame at all in that. And I think that's something we should be considering more of and thinking more about, okay? If you're there to elongate the day and win extra profit, everything after phase 1 to me is excess play. And you play that a different way. And that's why I look at my rack and I got it back. I got a little bit of saved up, and now I'm ready to do it. I will miss, admittedly, the first 10 rolls of a shooter. The guy goes off on 30 roller. I wasted 10 rolls getting to phase 3 sometimes. I won't even be pressing until that 10th roll very often, because I'm doing things early to get even, to get locked, and then I go. To my detriment, maybe, but I'm up for my life. And there's a reason for that, because I don't go out there and just go from the get like some people do. That just, again, personal preference. Play how you want to, okay? And there's that. So we can actually go to my table and do a quick little look if you want to. I'll switch it up, and I'll give you like a little quick example here. Let me change mics, and let me change screens. Let's go to this view here. And I will, the light's actually not too bad today. Yeah, lighting's not bad. Let's do it. Let me show you what I mean by this, right? And maybe I get lucky here and we'll do something, but I'm going to show you what I mean. And we'll do it with the green chips because they look cooler. Let's go 160 across, okay? And again, people will say to me, you're nuts for going across in craps, right? Well, sure. Bo Parker is the first one to say you're crazy. You don't know what the shooter's going to do. And I'm like, no, I don't, right? I don't know what the shooter's going to do, so I get them all, right? I'm going to do it like basically in anything but 7 here on a shooter because I don't know what they're going to do. I would rather, I'll fight the 7 before I fight for only the 8 or something like that, right? That's my view. Anyway, here we go. Let's roll the dice. We catch a 6-5 EO. It doesn't matter. And there is another one, 6-5 EO. The table of repeats. Let's do the Wayland thing. We'll do that. And there is a 7. Again, shooter can't get out. There's an 8. All right, we got a point. We got an 8. Cool. Let's see what it means to get out. If I can hopefully roll some numbers here, let's see if we can get out of the hand, right? There's a 4. That's beautiful. So a 3, 1, 4. Now watch what I'm going to do is a quick same bet. A little same bet. That pays $50. Okay. We'll take one hit. We're going to try and get to 160 in our rack as fast as humanly possible. Okay. 3 to 4 hits will do it. Again, you can also take this and do a reinvestment. Put it all in the 4. Split it 4 and 10. Right? When I play tier pressure, it's what I do. I basically hammer this box so my wins multiply quicker. You can also just same bet them and bring it back safe. I can show you what it looks like either way. Here we go again. There's a 3, craps, 1, 2, 3. I know you can't see the dice landing, but you gotta trust me. There's a 4, 1, 5. That pays $35. That's our second hit. There's $75, $85 in the rack game. We're out here for 160. There's a 7, so we don't get it. So this is a shooter where it doesn't happen for us, right? But you got back part of it. You're out for 160. You're in for 85, 50% down off that run. Let's go back out. We'll reset the rack. I'll note that we're down $80. Actually, we're down $65, but we're down $75. We'll leave it right there. There's our chase money. There's an 8. 4, 4, 8. Back to it. Let's go. Let's get lucky here, huh? There's a 6. $35. And this time I'll do tier pressure. Right, we'll do a 4 hit and gone. Right, we're gonna go up to $60 with it and just take back. And I'll do 3 full presses and then I'll be done. 6. Fantastic. They pay $70. Normally, You could be done on the repeat. We're going to let it sit. With this $70 here, I will grab the 8 and press it up. I'll bring the rest of this back. I'll use part of that big win and get the sister with it. And we got a 10. That's our third box hit. The $50, I will split on the outsides. And here's the money shot. Can we get a money shot to win? No. 1, 2, 3. Come on, dice, do your thing. Hey, we got an 8. Look at that. We got the 8. So we took 4 hits. Hit on the 6, hit on the 6, hit on the 10, 4th hit, bye-bye. Again, it's a big shot. If I'm going to same bet it 4 times, it's the same thing. Same betting 4 times would have been $35 4 times, right? I just happen to reinvest the money. Here's $70 coming in, and we'll bring our bets back down to 160. Where do we get to? There's 150, 160. That's our starting money. Okay, that play right there, typically speaking, results in you having your same starting bets out there, plus your money back in the rack, plus a little bit of juice. There's a quarter in profit. So we have our starting bankroll. We have $65 in profit, which essentially covers our previous loss. We're $10 off our previous loss in this case. I'll put it up here. And we're effectively even, and we're playing with 160. So if you consider this and this to be a wash, you can look at your rack and say, well, I got back my 160. I'm even for the day. I'm exactly even. This represents profit play, right? We earned 100% profit, right? You got your money back and you're playing with 160. This is 100% go to the rack profit. Bye-bye, right? That's why I say phase 1 is so important. Phase 1 is 100% win when it works, right? If you're playing phase 1, even if I same betted that one, we're still going to be at 160 in profit. We're still going to be in a great, or close to it anyway. We've been damn close to being out. That's a beautiful thing, right? Phase 1 is 100%. But again, if you're going to play a phased play, now you're going to be in phase 2, and phase 2 might be this. Well, there's a 7, so we get nothing out of it. Let's pretend the 7 didn't happen. I want to show you what I mean by phase 2. There's a 4. Let's say the 4 rolls, right? You get that $50, right? In phase 2, again, you're trying to lock up your session profit. Maybe your session profit is $100, okay? With the $50, I probably do this. I probably do, like, I'll take the $6 change, and I'll probably press the insides $44, right? And the reason for that is that makes everything in the inside pay $50. Now the whole table pays 50. Everything out of pays $50. So my first hit gets me to 204 across from 160, which is a great place to be. Now I can be on the $50 train, right? There's 50 for one hit. Phase 2 come into play. Oh, freaking 7, of course. Again, let's ignore the 7. I want to show you what I mean. When it works, you get a sense of it, right? There's a 3. Totally cheating here, right? There's an 11. Come on, dice, do your thing. Give me something. Another freaking 7. Are you seriously going to do this to me? I just want to show 2. Oh my God. Can I get a box number? There's a 9. Okay, so let's pretend, right? We got 9. It pays 50 for 1. And I'll show you what phase 2 would look like. There's $4 change for that. You would have brought back $100, right? Phase 2 is like, okay, we got our money back. We played with 160. We used our money, our 160, to make 100 and locked profit. If that was a phase 2 without the 7s, obviously. Now I got my money back. I got $100 in profit. That's cage time. No matter what happens to me, that's going to the cage. And I got 204 across. Okay. If I wanted to, phase 3 is decision time. I can take the 204 home and cash out 304, which is awesome, right? I could take $50 off the table and say, let's cash out a nice 150. We'll work the inside for a minute here, spread out again, and start hitting it. This is phase 3. This is your kind of go for the gusto phase, right? There's the 8. That's the point. Again, it pays $50 for 1. Get the 4 and 10 back. And here we go, right? New point. Well, that'll be a 7. And again, in phase 3, you're making that call, right? Am I going to the cage or am I going home? I know I ignored a bunch of 7s, but just trying to make a point here about what you would do. And again, that's lockdown. There's a 7. Jesus. Nothing but 7s today. But you can see, I think, where I was heading, right? You get your money back. You lock a little bit of profit. You do something quick to lock up your session, your day's money. That 7 doesn't bother me because I have 150, right? I'm here to win $100 today, right? I won the 100. I won extra. This was complete extra, right? And again, the smarter person probably goes home, right? Your phase 3 is to go for the ceiling. You're set up to go for the ceiling, right? And that's what I'm talking about. So again, ignore the 7s. The 7s, whatever. I wanted you to see the phases go through. If I sit here all day long and try to make a 15 roller, it'll take me all damn day. But I wanted you to get a sense of what I mean by phased play. And that's how it looks for me, right? If it works out, it works out. Get your money back, lock some profit up, hit the house, and hopefully it works out. And there it is. Let's go back over here. Yeah, totally right. And this is Jen is spot on. I'm gonna come back to the thing. Let me go back over here. I can't see where I'm at. There. Okay, Jen makes the perfect point. The results are making my point. I'm not going to make your money back unless I stop and lock, right? That's I did say it during the roll, right? You stop and lock here. And again, like the first stop and lock is the first phase, right? You got the 4 rolls right away, right? We were at 160 across. We got the 4 hits, right? That 4 hits made us on that second shooter everything, right? We made back what we lost on the previous shooter, which was the $75, right? We got our money back in the rack. So we're with the 160 out there was free money, right? Scoop it up and go home. I ended up in the exact same spot, right? We ended up with 150 anyway, but you're right. If you're trying to build a bankroll, that's what you have to do. Stop right there. You did it. Phase 1 did its job. If you're going to do a 3-phase play and say, I'm going to take phase 1, get our money back, make a leveraged play. The leveraged play, as you saw, was take the first hit, make it to a 4 across, 2 hits to make $50. That's phase 2. I locked up the goal for the day. And then I can say, I still have $200 out there. I can take that home with me, or I can run the table with it. Giving yourself those decision points. I think each phase to me is a decision point. Phase 1, getting even. Your decision point is I'm even, I'm up 100%, stop and pop, or keep going. Phase 2, I got locked money in my rack, a bankroll decision. I made my money that I was here for, and I've got bets out there. Do I lock and roll out of here, or do I take that and jump into phase 3? You can decide, right, based on what's in your rack and how long you've been there and what your goal for the day was, whether or not to go to the next phase, right? Know that there are phases, though. I got even, I got up, I can go further. I got even, I'm going home because I have 100% profit. I got even, I got up, I'm really going home now. I got even, I got up, and I'm going to hit it, right? You got decision points at each phase. I think that's the most important thing to remember today. Every phase presents a decision for you, and you can do the exact same play every single time. You can go press, or press collect, whatever you want to do in your phases. Up to you how you play them. But I think if you don't look at your rack growing and shrinking, as you progress through these different phases, you'll never be able to make a good decision. And I think if you just sit out there and go, I'm just going to let it rip and watch my rack go like this the whole way until it goes off the screen like that, that's where you get hammered, right? I think the phasing is important. It will cost you on the long runs. Playing this way will cost you, right? Same betting early, regressing down after the second, it'll cost you. You're going to miss out on the 15, 20 rollers. You're going to burn half the rolls just getting where you want to be, but you're going to be where you want to be. And I think that's what I want us to be at. So there we go. Skills says fist for reward. Jen says, don't force phase 3. Right. And that's exactly what I'm saying. I think we're saying the same thing, Jen. I'm not going to force phase 3. I think if I got phase 1 to work, my money's out there. In phase 2, if I get those 2 hits, I got my $50. Now I got my money back plus 150. Guess what? That's phase 3. Now we start playing. We get the aggressive stuff in, or we roll. You got to decide what you're going to do. That's up to you. That's up to you completely. Okay, I think that's all. Unless I'm not answering your question correctly, I think that's all. Let me go to the Q&A screen here. You want to rephrase that, Jen? I think maybe we're talking past each other, like I'm getting you late or something like that. But oh crap, I did it. I always do that. I always put the wrong filter. Should be up here. Questions. Let's see. My camera is adjusting the zoom. Oh, it is. Oh, it is, isn't it? I didn't realize it was doing that. Yeah, it's a new camera. And the camera's not very good. It's okay, but it's like it doesn't have as good of brightness controls as the other one does. So it's let me ask you this though. Is the eye contact better? When I'm looking at that camera, is it better that it's like, is it less awkward that I'm actually looking at you instead of looking around? Like hopefully that's okay. I'll get better at squirming. Thanks for reminding me of that. I do want to know though, is the eye contact better? That's why I bought the camera, because the camera kind of sits like on my computer screen, and it's literally like I have it like suction cupped to my screen, and it's a tiny little thing, so I can see behind it. I can read my notes and stuff, and I can look right at it and see you all. So anyway, let me know if that is okay. Let's see, John. Yeah, I don't know that I can do it. This camera doesn't have any software; it's just a camera. So I don't know if there's anything I can do. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm doing my hand. Yeah, it's kind of annoying. I don't know. It was only $150. It isn't like it's the best camera in the world. I thought it'd be nicer for eye contact. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I can throw it away. It's just money, right? Okay, there's all that. Let me go check anything else at the bottom here. You're saying maybe pause for more phase 3. I think it just depends on. It just depends on your decision, right? Like I said, the phases they're set up so you can, when the phase ends, you can look at your rack and go, okay, I made phase 1 work, right? I got that money back into my rack. How's my rack look? If that money into my rack and I'm still down, I may stay in phase 1. I may not even progress. I may do phase 1 again and get back what I lost in the previous shooter. That's the decision point. When you're at a point where your rack is recomplete and it's full, and you have bets out there, that's the first decision of phase 2. Do I stick in phase 2 and keep rolling, right? Or bring that back and go home? That's your first decision. If you're going to stay in phase 2, you stay in phase 2 for a short period of time, 2, 3, 4 hits, maybe max, right? Lock it up. And then your next decision comes. Do I want to keep playing in phase 3, or do I want to go home? If you don't want to play phase 3, don't play phase 3. Lock it up and wait. You can sit there and just do one of these and let the shooter run its course. Don't have fear of missing out. Let it happen, right? Or you can just pedal down. Up to you. Up to you. Again, I'm not making decisions for you. I'm giving you all the power to make your own decisions. I want you to see that there are decisions to be made and when you make them. That's the thing. Know when to make those calls. What calls you make, that's up to you. All right, folks, it is 8:55. It is exactly time to go. I will see you tomorrow. Another paycheck tomorrow, hopefully. And we're going to get in here. We'll talk about some situational plays tomorrow. The next couple of days are all situational plays this week. And then it's going to be basically ladies' choice after that. I got a couple of shows planned for the 401 series to kind of close it out. But really, we can talk about anything. And I was thinking about like trying to bring some people on, like bringing some guests on to talk about their thoughts on the series, number one, and their ways of playing phases and situationally and that kind of thing, and seeing how they bring all this information, how they play with it. So maybe that's what we'll do after I move. Maybe when the move comes, we'll start doing some of that stuff. So, alrighty, you all have a good Monday. Love you all. God bless every one of you, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good day. Later. Bye.